Okay. All right. Oh, get everything popped. Get everything crunchy. There you go. Fingers crunchy. Back crunchy. Everything crunchy. I'm actually gonna share this stream to one of my Discord, to a couple Discords that I know that have a bunch of artists in them because I want them to be like, hey, you gotta do more things. Guy from Fortnite, this is not that kind of stream, Vax. Not a request stream. It's not what it is. Let's see here. Let's see. Gonna drop it in my own Discord here. Let's see. To let everyone know. Oh man, sorry, Vax. Not confident enough to do that. Drop some knowledge. There we go. Do that there, and let me drop it in this Discord as well. Doing a study stream on YouTube. If you guys wanna come and help help me learn. I know y'all some professionals. There we go. These guys are nice. Gotta love the constant 144p. Can you not knock it up any, or is that just a bad internet connection on your part, Bax? I also don't know if this is necessarily what I can do in this Discord. I don't think they'll bother, though. They're really nice people here, so I'm sure they'll be okay. Let's see. Probably both. Let's see. I am live and with an excellent connection, so we should be okay. I think we should be all right. Stream Elements bot is running. Thanks for showing up, Stream Elements. Thanks for coming to work a little late. Thanks for coming to work on time, Stream Elements. All right. So, just to get this starting stuff out of the way, this is a Arcane study stream where I've got a bunch of pictures pulled up, saved on my iPad from the show Arcane. And really, I'm just gonna start picking some and doing some like style studies and stuff from them. Basically, I'm just doing this to learn better composition and such. Like this, for example. I really like the composition of this, so I'm gonna do a study of it. Now, obviously, I've got my canvas to 1920 by 1080, and this is set up a little bit differently from that, considering it's widescreen, 16 by 9. But hey, you know, we'll take it. Or 16 by 10, I think is this widescreen. I don't know, but we'll do what we can with it. So yeah, this is basically it. OMG, the girl from Fortnite. Fun fact, I don't think Jinx is in Fortnite yet. Give it time though. She will be. Let's see. Yeah, like that flashing color. I do. Me too. I do like the flashing color. It's fun. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple of different things. This isn't so much like a drawing, like get better at drawing stream so much as I just want to learn composition a little bit more and focus on like learning different levels of contrast, because that's something that Jinx is in Fortnite now. You're kidding me. Hold on, I have to Google this. Jinx Fortnite. Fortnite Arcane Jinx. Oh wow, she really is. Well, I'm not really surprised. Everything has Fortnite's in everything. Everything's in Fortnite now. Boy, howdy. All right. So, a lot of what I'm doing today is going to be referencing different things. Just to show what all I'm using as reference, and I'll actually add this to the description. First and foremost is a little YouTube video that I watched today, and I actually put it in the Discord, along with a folder to all the pictures that we're studying today. Link to the Discord should be popping up in chat anytime now, also in the description, in case anybody needs to see that. Just so you guys know what I'm talking about. But if we go to the art channel, art and animation, I'll go ahead and drop a link into chat as well for the video. And just pull it up real quick so I can show you guys.
Arcane came.
The video is called Paint Like Arcane, Characters and Backgrounds by Marco Bucci, I want to say, or Bucci? I think it's Bucci. I like this guy's tutorials a lot. I've been watching him for a minute now. And let me just pull up that real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There you go. This guy's channel right here. And there's a couple things he touches on during it. I mean, he's got an ad for a whole thing. He does this sketch over thing, which we might do later tonight. I don't really think we're going to, but he does like sketch over the image. That way he can just focus on the actual painting of it and not the drawing, because that's not the point of the study. The point of the study isn't to learn how to break down the structure of the character. It's just how they paint. So sketching over and tracing over the character is perfectly reasonable there for study purposes. He's not trying to claim it as his own art. But what we're mostly going to be focusing on is this right here, where he takes different shots from the show, and he just breaks down how they're lit and how they work in contrast. And he does this a lot, and I want to do something very similar to that, because contrast and building out like an actual frame and illustration is something that I haven't done a whole lot of. It's something that I'm not particularly good at. And it's one of the things that I want to get better at and start learning how to do. So that all my characters aren't just, so that all my images aren't just a character floating at a background, floating at an empty background, but like actually have backgrounds to them. But you can see him do it with a couple of different shots. He does it. This is actually the same shot, just a different angle of it, or a different half of it, which is one of the pictures in the reference. He does it again here. So I picked out a couple of different pictures, and we're going to run through some of them. He also goes through like a little Blender tutorial, which is nice, which is something I should probably learn to do at some point. But one thing that he mentions is that Blender is a tool that can be used as a shortcut if you know how to do everything that you're trying to do with Blender, like set up your backgrounds and everything. You don't want to use it as a crutch, because using it as a crutch can like stifle your actual ability to practice and learn. So don't use the Blender trick basically until you actually know how to draw in perspective and design backgrounds and stuff, because if you do, you're kind of hurting yourself there. Opinion on color theory, it's hard. Color theory is hard, but it's also extremely important. So there you go. But I figured we'd start with a really easy one here. Since there's not a whole lot going on in this, it's really bright, really dark, but there is some stuff that I want to touch on in this image. So we're going to do something similar to what he did, where we're going to do just like a completely white color fill on this. Then we're going to drop the opacity. And I'm just going to grab a pencil real quick and do a quick little sketch over. Not super, super duper close or anything. I just want to get an idea for how everything's like. How big is this brush? That brush is way too big. It's better. I don't know anything about what you're talking about. I just find it funny that it's funny that it's called Blender. I mean, that is pretty funny. The fact that it's called Blender is very funny. Boop, there we go. All right, so like I said, we're just going to drop in real quickly, just kind of sketch out all the different forms in this. Let's real quickly get that in there. We'll be making up some of this as we go, because not all of it fits on frame. So, edge is going to get a little wonky, but that's fine. How you been doing, Vax, by the way? I feel like I ain't seen you around in a minute. I really should do, like, sketch studies of these characters, but I gotta work on my anatomy first before I do that. Which, by the way, Anatomy for Sculptors is a book that I bought recently. I bought the PDF for it. And it is a phenomenal, phenomenal book for studying like different forms and learning how to like actually draw characters with proper perspective and stuff. As well as just generally drawing the forms. It's kind of, like I said, make this up a little bit as we go. That whole arm is blurry, so it's going to be kind of hard to get it completely right, but we'll make it up as we go, like I said. This is where knowing the anatomy here would be great, because then I could just fill in how it goes. But generally, I just want to get an idea for the layout of the shot and how it works. And then like do a little bit of research into how like the actual color theory and everything works. Fine, just been focusing on school. Are you going to college for something, or are you just like in high school or something? Wish I had focused more in college. This stuff would be a lot easier if that was the case. Then again, my art school was kind of a sham. Which isn't really ingenuous. It's kind of disingenuous to say, because like my teachers, a lot of them were actually really good teachers. I just, well, first of all, I didn't really know what I was getting into. And secondly, going to a private school that turned out to be a total sham was not great. Because then they closed down and I could never go back. God, I love how a lot of these lines just follow through, though. Like, the amount of lines that go into an Arcane character just in the faces and stuff is phenomenal. Some of the design choices they make are really cool. That eye got a little bit blurry in the screen capture, but we'll just mimic the other eye, I guess. That's way too big of an eraser. What? Oh, I'm drawing with a white layer. Whoops. Oh well, it's fine. For this is fine. I'm not going to college. I mean, fair. It's totally fair. Again, we are tracing here, but we're only tracing for the layout of the image. We're not actually tracing for the sake of copying everything down here, because I don't want to do that. Kind of guessing where the pupils are there because they're hard to see in the screen cap, but there we go. Just the lines inside the explosion, like the blast, and how they all kind of push towards the hand, push towards the shape. I mean, that alone is something that's good to study. Because even the effects are playing into the composition of the shot here. What the hell is the difference between layers? Is it like an onion? So when it comes to layers, layers are just like you're stacking different. Imagine it more like stacking different sheets of paper on top of each other, and you can control how much you can see through them. So I guess it could be kind of like an onion. They do all have layers, but more so it's the idea that you can edit one part of a layer without affecting another layer, right? So like I said, I drew on the white layer here, which I really shouldn't have done, but it's fine for this. So you can see how that's kind of messing with things. But if I were to go onto another layer, I could effectively take a bright color like this, which we'll be doing later, and I can draw all on it. And if I turn off the layer underneath, it doesn't affect anything. It's all just different layers. So you can affect things however you want without really messing up anything, which is really nice. When you're talking about like an onion, though, there is a term in animation software. It's called onion skins. And onion skins, what they are is, very similar. It's layers of paper on top of each other. But what the onion skin does is the onion skin allows you to, like, frame by frame and see a little bit of the layer underneath, as well as see the frames next to, like, before and after what you're doing whenever you're animating. So, again, if I hide these real quick, the way onion skinning would look like is if I had, say, a bouncing ball, right? If I had a ball right here, and I'd already drawn 2 frames before it, like a frame before it and a frame after it, the frame before it would probably be probably red. Red's a color they use in a lot of software. It'd be like red down here, and then the frame after it would be blue down here. And the idea is that as you flip through your frames, you're able to go in with different things and draw it in and like actually complete your animation, right? And the frames would look something like this, where like each frame that's farther away or closer would look a little bit different. So you could actually like draw in your whole animation. That's kind of the idea behind onion frames for animation. So yeah. All right, real quick, I'm going to duplicate this layer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our ball and get our like actual lighting thing going on, right? And set up kind of how everything seems to be looking. So new layer, duplicate that layer. Vasp Tech? Okay. The song is kind of techy. Is that the name of the song? I don't know. I'm listening to just a bunch of copyright-free music. No, it's called Leaving a Trail. It's a bunch of copyright-free music from Harris Heller and Stream Beats because it's pretty phenomenal. I'm cool with giving him my Spotify money. So I just feel dumb. I was just confused and used the Shrek reference and got a good answer. I mean, you did manage to joke your way into into making like getting a nuanced answer out of me. Good job. Let's see. I should be able to just grayscale this layer. Right? Let's go to curves. Nope, not like that. How do you grayscale in this? I forget. Hue, saturation, brightness. Here we go. Saturation. Bam. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So now this layer is completely gray. It's black and white. See, all the white's over here, all the black is over here. Ah, color. Hi, Donut. How you doing, buddy? So real quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make another layer, which we already did, and I'm going to color pick the darkest dark here. Well, I'm gonna try to color pick the darkest dark here. There we go. That's our darkest dark. I'm gonna make a little box. Fill that in real quick. Then we're going to take our lightest light on our character herself, which would be like right here. That's the lightest light right there. And I'm just going to put that here in the middle in a little circle. Using these sketchier brushes is sometimes hard to get a solid fill going. There we go. Then I'm just going to figure out where our actual like amount of contrast is. Because the darkest dark on our character herself is pretty much the same. A little bit off. Let me get a softer brush here. And we're just gonna... Do I have an airbrush? I should have an airbrush. There we go. A little bit bigger than that. And the lighting on her is pretty smooth. You see how it's, you know, a nice soft gradient there. But we're also going to look at some of the details of like how the light's actually hitting her, right? So you have this soft light hitting her from the front, which is going to be close to our brightest color. That's actually hitting her from the front here. And there's a little bit of a rim light. Go ahead and fill in some more of this so we have a smoother gradient. There we go. That's more accurate. So this basically sets up how our actual lighting itself looks. Going from our lightest light to our darkest dark. A little bit of the brightest hot spots being right around there. And then of course if we go back to our sketch here, move this on top, we can see how the lightest light's here, the darkest darks are back here, but also the highest light here is the same highest light from over here. And there is a little bit of contrast in this. It's really hard to make out, but you can see like the forms that I drew out here, like the lightest parts of the white, and there's some darker parts. And all of this, if we're talking about composition, looks like it's moving generally in this direction, right? Because everything's trying to point us towards the face and towards the motion of the hand itself. So if we're following all these lines, whoops, we're following all these lines, that's where they all end up pointing, is right there. And even this right here just kind of frames more of the face. Because this is our like point of interest. This is what we're focusing on here. So that's going to be the thing that has the most detail on it and the most what's the word I'm looking for here? The most contrast. That's where the most contrast inside of a character is going to be, is right there where the point of interest is. So that's just what I'm trying to learn more about is how to get all that stuff out of it. Love the YouTube delay. I mean, everybody loves the YouTube delay. If you have really good internet, you don't have YouTube delay. Because I'm supposed to be on the lowest delay setting, near instantaneous. But you know, stuff happens. YT delay isn't that bad right now. I think the biggest delay is in some of my chat windows. Some of my chat windows are like weirdly small, and one of them like actually keeps up where the other one doesn't. I'm gonna close that out and then bring this one over here because this one actually doesn't delay very much. There we go. All right, but now we've done all this, let's actually get into a little bit of painting. And I'm actually going to take the layer that I desaturated and made white. I'm going to full screen it. I'm going to set it to multiply. Where's multiply? How did I miss them? There it is. There we go. The reason why I did that is because it's going to take all of the white out of it, basically, and make it completely line art, which is exactly what I wanted the first time before I screwed it up. I'm just going to take this guy over here. I'm going to shrink it down. That way I've got all my, I've got my little contrast reference over here. Whoops. I'm going to put it up here. And then we're just going to take this layer. I'm going to delete it. And we're going to bring up our reference. Up. Image, import, and import the image we're actually working with. So that I can see the actual image itself. We have all that as reference. But we're also going to be able to just focus on different parts that we want and get a good clear idea of what we're looking for here. Negative 14? How did you do that? How did you make that happen? So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get our pitch black here on a whole new layer. Going to fill that in. Then we're going to start blocking in our biggest like blocks of color, right? We're going to grab our bright white here. I'm going to make my brush nice and big. Grab a different brush. I don't want to soft airbrush this whole thing. Use the good old Max Old brush. Oh, whoops. I accidentally hit my button. And we're just going to come in here and generally get the form out, right? I could be doing this on different layers, but I actually want to focus on doing this all on one layer right now, so it's actually kind of like a painting. Because I want to be able to really focus on pushing the contrast and stuff, and I don't want to mess up too much by going into a bunch of different layers and trying to cheat my way out of it, which should make things too easy. Why would I want to make things too easy? Boba Fett is in Fortnite now? Cool. I'm actually going to take this brightest white, and I'm going to make it even a little bit brighter for the inside of our big explosion here, as well as our lightning streaks. And go a little bit brighter. Because there's not a ton of contrast on the inside of the explosion, but there's enough where you can actually like see the forms and the shapes inside of it that point towards our girl Jinx here. And help create that framing. Help create those lines driving us in. I love this brush. This brush is so nice. Thank you to my friend Christina, who showed me this brush, as well as all the Max brushes, which I recommend you get if you don't have them, and you have Procreate and an iPad and all that good stuff. Okay. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Victor. Or as I've been telling people, Merry Crime Bus. Been really enjoying it. Been really enjoying calling it Merry Crime Bus lately. There we go. It's a couple little sparks there. Now we can actually focus on our girl here. New Spooky Month came out today. What do you mean by new Spooky Month? I didn't know we'd upgraded to a new Spooky Month. I thought we were still on the same olds. I mean, if we're upgrading to a new Spooky Month, I'm down. I love Spooky Months. I just need to know that before I do anything, right? So one thing that I want to point out here is a lot of the shapes that come in to play whenever we're talking about blocking out our shading, right? So like, for example, if you look at our reference here, and I'm going to bring it up right here on the picture as well. We have a couple different shapes to talk about when we're talking about our shading. First and foremost, we have these shapes right here. They go across the eye and above it and create shadow all throughout here in that shape. And it dies down a little bit here, and we get more of that shadow here. And that same shadow connects and wraps around the face right here before it goes back into lighting. There's a little cut there. And all this is just helping frame up the emotion in the middle of the face, right? As well as selling like how dramatic it is. So there's a nice dark part here as well. And all of that, as well as a little bit underneath the nose here, is going to be what we're focusing on here. So I'm going to just take this and turn it down a little bit. I'm going to go back to my layer that I'm drawing on. Grab my dark here. And we're going to start working this in. But this is going to be our darkest part here. I'm just using the dark as a base starting point. Actually, I should use a lighter brush here. This brush doesn't have any kind of opacity, so I'm actually going to swap to my hard round here. Yeah, there we go, where I can actually mess with the opacity a little bit. We're going to work our way in a little bit. Do you not know what Spooky Month is? No, I don't. You think I like it? Okay. But yeah, again, like I said, I'm down for 2 Spooky Months. I like Halloween. It's the best month. I'm going to make this even harder to see. Really turn it down. There we go. So I can focus more on the lighting here. Am I drawing on that layer? I am. Get as much of our grayscale in here as possible, and I can start tweaking it in a minute. Notification. All right. So now we've got all that roughed out. I'm going to start smoothing in some of the lighting up here. I'm just going to move to a round brush for this. Just so I can work it in real softly. Because I can always go in and bring back more of the dark. Which is what I plan on doing here, you know. It's all about kind of pushing and moving your forms around, it looks like. But I really just want to focus on getting all this stuff kind of right-ish. And then something else I want to do is after doing this study, maybe next week, take some characters and stuff that I've been working on, and I want to do like a study taking what I learned this week and next week applying that to those characters that I've kind of been working on. Not really anything too like particularly big, like a huge like story or narrative. Just some like characters I had ideas with and I've been wanting to toy around with for a long time. And I just want to draw them. I want to get them out on a piece of paper, you know? Or I guess in a digital format. After Ween, Skeleton Knight 2. I like Skeleton Knight 2. It's a good one. Oh, whoops. Get back over here, Jinx. Reference Jinx, whatever I'm going to call you. Refinks. Rough inks. Grab one of these slightly darker values. Actually, it's really bright down there, isn't it? Kind of like right in that area. Where a little bit of that skin is showing through her clothing. That's beneath her arm there. That arm should still technically be going through here. And like wrapping around. Of course, in the original image, the framing's a little bit different. Not really different, it's just not quite as consistent. Alright. So we got a lot of our basic shadows and stuff in here. I want to get one little bit more up in here on the hair. Oop. But then we got our lighting shapes here, right? This little bit of lighting right here. Come on. This little bit right here. Some of our edge lighting that helps frame up the character. We're going to grab some of that, which is going to be kind of a middle ground. It's not our brightest spot, but it's not our darkest either. We're going to grab something kind of in the middle here. And that's going to be what we use our little edge lighting here to help separate Jinx from the background. A little bit smaller. And again, the shape of the face here, if I bring this back up, it's already going this way. If you look at the way the light is hitting everything, it's just kind of pushing that same direction, right? Obviously, this right here, how it's going to be lit up, is helping frame everything up. But even the shadow, like you got this line right here for this shadow, and the light that wraps around the head is also kind of going in the same direction as the shadow and the darkness. So it's all going to kind of play together to help frame up the head and separate it from the background. By the way, I should note that this is not so much like me telling you how to do everything, because frankly, I don't know how to do everything. I hardly know how to do anything. This is just me kind of talking out loud as I'm doing my own studies, and hopefully in what I've learned, and hopefully that can glomp its way onto you, Maybe somebody else can be like, oh, I never thought of that, and that helps somebody else learn. Because frankly, I'm not an art teacher, nor should I be at this point in my studies and how I'm working. More than anything, I'm just using this as an excuse to learn and talk about how good Arcane is. Because if you guys haven't watched Arcane, I can't recommend it more. It took me a long time to think of where to recommend there. I can't recommend Arcane more. It's phenomenal. Cody should never teach anything. Hey, he's right. Also, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of characters did you have in mind? You don't have to answer if you'd rather talk about them later. It's just, I've had this idea. I don't mind talking about it a little bit. Yeah, I've had this idea floating around my head for a while now of kind of a like, what's the best way to describe it? I guess just a story about basically like an idea that these characters basically, I don't really know how to describe it without like spoiling all the ideas and like giving you basically an elevator pitch. But I guess a way to put it is these characters are in a fantastical world, and even in their fantastical world, they are kind of, to say fishes, like fish out of water in even this fantastical world. And playing into these different ideas I have of like two of my favorite passions when it comes to like settings. One of those settings being like fantasy fiction, and the other one like high fantasy fiction, and the other one being science fiction. And the idea is that this kind of marries those two together and just grows and grows until it gets to a certain point while staying contained to like a handful of certain characters. Um, that's basically the elevator pitch for it without spoiling anything about like who the characters actually are or anything, I suppose. But they're like just different kind of fictional type characters. Like one of them, if I were just like real quickly give an idea of it, one of them is kind of an ugly duckling type scenario where the character isn't like not doesn't know what her like race or anything is, or like what her magical thing is. She knows exactly what she is. Um, but the issue comes down to even in this world, like the idea of her type existing is like, oh, they're kind of like um, not really bottom feeders, just they're not exactly looked upon as like, oh, cool. Because they're supposed to be in a certain location, and she's the only one who's like kind of out of her depth whenever it comes to it. And because of her being out of her depth and her being in the place and scenario, am I drawing on the wrong layer? Not on the right layer. And her being in the scenario that she's in, um, it plays into things a bit thematically. And another character kind of takes that same theme and goes a different direction with it, where his whole deal is he, should be where he is, generally speaking, but because of circumstances beyond his control, he kind of he breaks a mold in a way that like doesn't fit in to the other characters and the other people of his same type. Uh, I'm realizing the more and more I talk about this that maybe I'm not necessarily researched enough on the topics that I'm wanting to approach with this series and these characters, and maybe I should do some more research. But the idea I feel still stands strong. But that's what it is when you're working on an idea. You got to come up with all the stuff you got to talk about, and you got to think about it, and you got to put it together, and you got to make it happen. So I'm not going to let it dissuade me. This sounds like straight out of like an old spy game. This song we're listening to right now. I'm realizing I'm losing a little bit of the nose because the nose doesn't have the proper shadows on it. Like it should be shaded right there, should be a little bit darker overall, and then have a highlight right there in the middle of the nose. I mean, it's your universe. I don't know how much you can research on that, although I did have to look up different ideologies and philosophies for my story to work. Mostly, I'm realizing more and more that and it's not like I haven't thought about it before. It's just as I explain it out loud, I realize I don't have quite the vocabulary needed to properly convey everything. Um, but generally speaking, the ideas are uh, kind of affecting things like race, which, as a white guy, I have to be very, very careful about how I approach those things because I don't want to do it wrong. Because if I do it wrong, it just sets everything back. It sets everything back, and it can really screw up a lot of people and hurt a lot of people if I do it incorrectly, and that's the last thing I want to do. Which, if this were to ever go, I mean, if this was ever something I could like fund and go beyond me, I would definitely like hire consultants and everything. I wouldn't just do it like, oh, it's me, it's my story. I can have complete and control over it. These aspects of life that I don't have any way of relating to because I'm just a white dude. The familial elements of it are very true to me. Like they're very much based off of like what I've experienced in my life. Like the family stuff, which is the primary focus of it, I think, um, I could do. But the complexities of the characters come out in other ways as well, and those are things that I would not want to approach without having the proper people there to keep me on track. Because I don't want to be the person. I don't want to be known as the guy who managed to mess everything up because he wanted to tell his silly little story. It ends up hurting a lot of people in the process. No story, no story I would ever come up with is worth hurting a bunch of people, inadvertently or otherwise. Cody about to become a racist? No, I'm taking every step I can to not do that. Did you not hear what I just said? I want to be the. I almost said the anti-racist. I'm tone those down a little bit because they're a little bit too bright. Cool. Now, how would I do this if I was doing this? Because I'd probably do a lot more solid shapes. Not that there aren't solid shapes on this, but I kind of want to do a little draw over. But like me, I would basically just go with like a hard sketch pencil. or actually probably just my super clean inker. And I would just draw over top of this with some white real quick. The way I would go through doing this in my process is I would go through and I would like basically draw out all the shapes based on the line art, you know? Like that. That shape would be like that, basically. And then I would take that and I'd fill that all in. That work? No. There must be a big hole in there somewhere. Where's that big hole at? What layer am I drawing on? I'm drawing on its own layer. But I'd like go in and I'd fill this in if no. Just fill it all in completely. And then let the underlying like textures and stuff take over whenever I move over. And I would go to the layer and I would change it to like overlay or something. And then I would just take it and tone it down. Not that you can really see it in this because it's white overlaying black. Maybe a lighten or a color dodge, maybe. Hard light? Yeah, there we go. Hard light works. It might actually be the choice for this as well, but I'd take it and I'd tone it down. You can see how it'd make that like hard solid shape that's actually almost more accurate to this over here. That's because I would do like more general shapes. I wouldn't really do like a rendered sketchy style. Playing a ton of Stardew Valley? Go nuts. I was raised to believe that we as human beings have more commonalities across ethnicities rather than within them, but I guess that's a dated mentality now. No, because as human beings, you know, if we just go down to our actual biologies, you know, they're all extremely similar. That's not the point of contention that I'm talking about here. The point of contention that comes down with what I'm trying to do is as far as like the modern day you know, just the environment and everything that we live in now. There's obviously people's that whenever you start talking about different types of elements and stories, especially stories where people are thought of as being different because of something, as at the end of not pointless, but as something as what's the word I'm looking for here? When it comes to like skin color doesn't make you a good or bad person, right? Like that's not at all anything that could possibly dictate who you are as a person. But there are people out there who believe that. Racists. Same with things like gender and sexuality and all that kind of stuff. And those kind of things are sensitive topics that if I'm going to have those in my story, if I'm going to have things like, for example, gay people in my story, I don't want to screw that up by doing it wrong, you know? How's that looking? How are we looking over here? That's the main reason why I bring it up, is because a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking about, once it's touched on, would come into play. Once I start talking about it, would come into play with people, and it was something that I would have to be careful with when it comes to actually breaking down. That's actually not bad. The contrast is a little bit off in the face. I don't have it pushed enough on the forehead. And then I need to up the rim lighting on the side of the face here as well. I hereby give you permission to write gay characters however you want. Appreciate it, Aaron. I'll take your blessing and I'll take your blessing and I will run with it. While also still hiring consultants. Someday I'll hire consultants whenever this idea could actually become a thing and I have the money to fund something like it. Huh, all right. That's actually not terrible. The contrast is all there. It actually kind of works out okay. Cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. No, I'm good. I don't need that pass. I'm all right. Making villains for all I care. Well, I don't mind about. There's nothing wrong with making somebody gay a villain, just so long as they're not a villain because they're gay. You know, there's a very stark difference in that. I give information to have money to fund something like that. Oh, okay, where can I get that money, Donut? You're gonna give it to me? Can I have the monies? Cool. We'll mark that down as number 1. And we'll pull up another one. Actually, I'm gonna use a bathroom, and then after that, I'm gonna show you guys something from Arcane that I want to show everybody because it's phenomenal. Okay, I'm back. I have 200k gold in Stardew Valley. Does that work? Yeah, that absolutely works. The Stardew Valley economy will play great into funding real life stuff. Absolutely. Oh, 300k gold. I said 200. Wow, that's way more. Yeah, that'll be perfect actually. No. All right. So what I wanted to play out here was. Nope. Shh. Let me mute that. And then we're also going to put it on half speed. That way, hopefully, I won't get copyright claimed for this. I shouldn't, because the audio is going to be damn near impossible to see. But let me move my chat too. But this is going to be a little clip from Arcane. I just want to show you guys. I want to show this fight or the other one. This isn't really a fight. I'm going to show the other one. The other one I like a lot more. We're going to go to... Boy, what episode was it? Episode 6, 545 remaining. Okay. Episode 6. 545 remaining. Here we go. I would say spoilers for Arcane, but it's a very short clip, and there's much more to care about than just the clip I'm going to show you. So, I just wanted to do this in slow motion because I wanted to show you guys like the animation and how good this is. On your way to get melody claimed, too much power, can't handle. Oh, in before DMCA, yeah, for sure. So, 545 remaining right here. So, just this whole like next 10 seconds or so, I've got it going at half speed. So I'm gonna just let you guys like see all of this because it's phenomenal. Just that movement alone, the way it like the way the character stretches and smears is awesome. I can't frame by frame on Firefox in Netflix, and it makes me sad. But the movement here, the way it cut around, using that smear to hide like a 360 was nice. And then we have this right here. All this movement here, that impact, the movement, the way everything just goes, right there. 4 different cuts to just point a gun at somebody. Oh, God, I hate this. This right here, the movement here. I love this. Because he throws, she turns, the multiplied arms and the smear frames. All of that for one little gun pose. That huge gunshot hits the thing, it explodes, it keeps moving forward. And then he drives through it, sells the impact with a couple of little, extra 2D effects. He's gonna stretch there. Another big blur. She's stretching right now. Her face and her head are wider than they should be. Her arm is elongated here as she's dodging this dude's board. All that push, all that smear, all for that double arm to show how fast it's moving into the clamp. All the little bits coming off of it. Showing the item, showing his reaction, showing this character looking, boom, jump, catch, and then even more effects happening as things go by. This is so good. So good. Anyways, that's all I wanted to show was that. Just wanted to show that off. Oh boy, it's very great. I like it a lot. Okay, goodbye. Go away. Back to study mode. Legally, I cannot endorse piracy or recording Netflix shows with OBS, so you can go through them frame by frame. Do not do this. Look, if you're doing it for study, go nuts. I just wouldn't recommend uploading it to the internet for people to watch an entire 9-episode series, 40 minutes an episode, to not support the artists making it. Which some of the money does go to Riot, which does not feel great, but a lot of the money also still goes to Fortiche to make more seasons. So it's hard to completely say don't do it. Which one do we do next? Let's do one a little bit more dynamic. But we won't do my favorite one yet. We'll do this one. Let's see. Insert a photo. There we go. Go away for a minute, reference layer. This one's a lot more complicated. We got a lot more elements here. Got multiple characters. I'm just going to zoom it in to fit the frame. Move it over. Spoilers for episode 2, I guess. I think this is an episode 2. And we're going to do the same thing we did last time, where we're just going to fill this in completely with white. And we're going to sketch over everything real quick. Just grab it. Just grab it. Thank you. Just to get a rough little trace going on here. I did not turn off hardware acceleration so I could stream Squid Game to my friend on Netflix. Wait, is that all you gotta do is turn off hardware acceleration? Oh, whoops. Is it really that easy? I just go to Firefox. Because Firefox still lets you stream over Discord, whereas Google Chrome does not. Which, real quick, how many of you guys have watched Hilda all the way through? Because if you haven't watched Hilda all the way through, I kind of want to stream the Hilda movie in the Discord to watch as a movie night. But I also don't want to encourage anybody to watch the movie that takes place immediately after the finale of the second season. Because that would be kind of a bummer. I'm not going to worry too much about the detail here because it's so dark that it's really hard to see. Boy, howdy, Jace. You sure did have to hide behind the most complicated grate in the world, didn't you? Gate in the world? Yeah, gate. That's it. Super complicated gate. It's framing and symbolism, yeah, but it's annoying to draw. Well, they didn't draw it. Well, they still modeled it. I bet it wasn't easy to model. I bet it was kind of... Actually, a professional modeler could pop this out in an hour, I'm sure. Let's get our light source up there. I like this one because the splash of red and Caitlyn and everything. It's a nice touch. And again, it's going to show off a lot of what we're talking about here today as far as like framing and laying out like backgrounds and stuff. Also, if you have watched Arcane, y'all ever notice just how lanky Caitlyn is? Girl is nothing but like skin and bone. She is so like thin. When you talk about somebody being built like a needle, she absolutely is. What's the phrase? Not built like a needle. There's a different phrase for it. Not skin and bone, because that's not necessarily fair. She's not like ridiculously skinny or anything. What's the phrase I'm trying to land on here? Oh, me. Trying to remember turns of phrase. I'm so dumb. Chat, help me out. What are we looking for here? What's the phrase I'm trying to land on here? Built like a stick, I guess? Like a twig? She's very twiggy. But again, she's not like unhealthily skinny. She's just really thin. What am I trying to land on here? I don't know. The best way I've ever described somebody is that they're built like a rhombus. Because that's just a funny way to say how somebody's built is like a rhombus. I'm just going to go in and make a bunch of really straight lines for the bars here. We're going to try to draw straight anyways. Because I don't want to detail in all these bars. These are for study. These are not a full-on painting. Anything like that. So there's no point in being ridiculously detailed with it. I just want to get an idea for the contrast and everything. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, like I was saying. Trash talk slim. People like that. Hashtag cancel. I'm not trash talking anybody. I wish I was skinnier. I just need to work out. I need to keep doing Wii Fit. Ring Fit. If I keep doing Ring Fit, I'll be so skinny someday. I'll be so skinny and attractive. And everyone will be like, oh my God, look at that hot guy. He's so skinny and attractive. And I'd be like, yeah, I am. I'm hot and skinny and attractive. All right. So, what are we focusing on this picture? Well, first of all, our contrast. Our lightest point is right here. And then everything kind of darkens out from there. Even the sky, which is way back here, follows the same amount of light, right? Like the way the contrast goes is it's light up here and it's darker down here. So the entire scene has that like movement of all the light going here. But then we have one of our characters who is bathed in light, but not only is she directly underneath this bit of shadow, but she's also got this umbrella on, which is even more shadow. So she's completely framed in dark, because even though she's on the inside of this gated area and everything, she is sad. She is sad even though she's inside of this nice, safe looking gated area. So if you're sad, you're going to be covered in shadow. That's just how it works. Jace here. This is Jace, by the way. That's him. Say hi to Jace. He is off to the side. And he's got a little bit of light hitting him, but he's still out in the shadow as well. But he's also behind these little grates here, you know, which feel like a little prison. It's a prison. He's in sad boy prison. Let me just real quickly here, just there we go. Bop, 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 bop. Sad boy jail. That's what this is telling you. This is telling you that this is sad boy jail. He's not literally in jail, obviously. He's outside, but he is trapped in this scene. He feels like he's been cast out and he's locked away from his life, which is changed drastically in this episode. And this is his low moment, so he's in sad boy jail right now. Locked out rather than in sad boy summer. He's just excommunicated. I mean, basically, yeah, he's excommunicated in this scene. So yeah, all this is framing up that this is sad. This is a sad place. Sad place. Time. Lots. Cold. It feels cold here. Hard shadows. Can I make an A? And sad boy jail. All right. And let's duplicate this. Go to our adjustments, hue saturation, drop that satch. And now we're going to grab our colors. We're going to grab our contrast here. Again, we're going to be using just the darkest darks in this scene. And our lightest light is a very light light. Actually, we're not really studying the character here. We're just studying the scene. So our brightest bright is going to be up here. I'm actually going to do a little bit differently. I'm going to put a reference for our bright light up here. And we're going to grab our darkest dark. Oh, there we go. And we're going to draw it down here. And that will be our simple reference for that. Bring that back. Turn all these off. And bring up our image again. I'm actually going to take our background color here and put it in the middle. There we go. So that's done. And same thing we did last time. Make this small. So we're not looking, so we're just getting the basic shapes out as far as like the shading and stuff goes. My dad says you're a misfit, that we can't be friends anymore. I'm sad, Caitlin. I'm Caitlin Kierman, and in this show, I'm sad a lot. That's basically it. Unless you're the only mod, you should probably watch Arcane before watching these streams. I mean, no. The thing is, like, I'm not spoiling too much. Really? There's obviously way more I could be spoiling. Alright. So this is definitely kind of lighter than what our background is here. The midtones are basically like right in this area. So we're going to grab like a middle gray here. Actually, let's make the background color a little bit more of a... Let's make it a little bit lighter because we are going to be pushing a lot of our colors here. There we go. So generally speaking, we can get out a soft airbrush here, make it big, and just start blocking in kind of where our darkest parts are here. All right, this kind of hits. This song hits real good, actually. Actually, that shadow is a little bit too bright. A little bit too dark. Lighten up a little bit. There we go. It's better. Get some of this mid-ground in here. Uncle Owen and Aunt Bear die. Bowser kidnaps Peach in Mario World. Oh boy, howdy. Yeah, spoilers for days, actually. Watch out. The biggest spoiler I can think of is Spider-Man No Way Home. When Spider-Man says, "Goodbye, Mary Jane. Goodbye, MJ. It's time for you to die." And then he shoots her in the face. He says, "Goodbye, MJ," and then she perishes. He hits her with the yeet. And then she rip dies. She rip dies like for real, for real. Alright. So underneath the umbrella, it's a little bit darker. And Caitlin is really light compared to it. The umbrella itself is actually quite bright. Well, I went and darkened it up too much. It's one of the brightest things in the scene. Not quite as bright as the light itself, but still pretty bright. And then there's a little bit of a lighter shade on the inside of the umbrella. You know, where umbrellas are slightly translucent. But it's also drawing ourselves up to Caitlyn's face, which is where a lot of the animation in this scene happens. A lot of the animation happens around Caitlyn's head area. So again, it's just more things pointing us in that direction. Merry Christmas from the future. Oh my god, Backstab. Merry Crime Bus to you too. Spider-Man gets burnt to death in No Way Home. How did you know? I didn't know you saw the movie already. I'm so glad this is a place where we can talk about No Way Home spoilers where everybody dies. My favorite part of No Way Home, the constant murder. I'm going to get in that little bit of light. I know I didn't actually sketch it in. But we're going to put in a little bit of light there. A little light there. I did simplify the pillar, so there would be a little bit of light catching here and here. And then the darkest dark of the pillar is this lead right here. And then this whole thing is a little bit darker. Still got some light on it though, so it stands out a little bit from everything else. I keep thinking about how dirty Jace got done in this scene. Poor guy. I mean, to be fair, he was messing around with taboo stuff, but still. Unfair. Backstab, stop! Don't come into my stream like this. This is a place for learning, and this is a place for chill jokes. We can't go too. We can't go full Breakfast Club in here. Backstab. I can't allow this place to be full Breakfast Club. And don't call me a coward. I didn't look at chat, but I'm almost certain you called me a coward just then. PG-13, yes. PG-13. The Breakfast Club is not PG-13. Her hair's a lot darker than that, isn't it? Yeah. Her hair is really dark. Her whole outfit's really dark. It's almost the dark. I mean, it is the darkest parts in this scene. Is her hair and her outfit. Doesn't pop out that much. But she does pop out a little bit more than that. I have to make the actual other stuff a little bit darker. And then her shirt is a bit darker than that. Playing in grayscale is actually a lot harder than someone would think. Because you got to focus so much on contrast. It's quite a lot of work, actually. Wait. See, Aaron gets it. Thanks. What was the redacted message? Can I show that? Why can't I see the redacted message? Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just pretend it doesn't exist. That's fine. If it doesn't exist, it can't hurt me. It's already recorded though, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, I gotta make the outfit and her hair a good step darker. There we go. And there's a slight gradient on her skin. Because she's technically a little bit, because she's in the dark there. So, whoops. Too dark. Her face is a little downcast. It's going to be a little darker around there. And then on to Jace, who's kind of already in like the right amount of light and dark. But this little guy over here, look at him. He's in sad boy jail, so he's going to be pretty downcast. He's going to be pretty out of the light here. And generally speaking, that's the contrast of the shot. There's a few things that need a little bit of work. Like, for example, I think I made the shadow on the below the light a little bit too dark. It doesn't help Caitlyn stand out enough, considering how in shadow she is. So we're going to lighten that up just a little bit. And the brightest part of the light needs to be a bit bigger. But I like how realistically there'd be more bounce light kind of hitting this thing down here, right? But they don't have that. They have that like hard shadow there. It just kind of shows the texture beneath. So like if I were to make another layer, right? And go in with like some really thin line art. Maybe set this to multiply. Luminosity? There we go. Set it to luminosity. And then go underneath it with some line art. Well, maybe. I'll just go over top of it, I guess. Yeah, going over top of it actually makes more sense. Because then I can control the line art layer better. There we go. But you just go over top of it with some line art, you know? Like the texture of the bricks here. Which do have their own lighting on them, but that'd be going into like a really detailed painting. You know, we're looking at this here. You know, even them, the way they are, if we take it and we go to like, let's turn the opacity down. It's pretty similar to how like just the darkness of the shadows really darkens up those lines a lot more. It's not bad. That combined with our notes from earlier. Bad Boy Gel, Cold Hard Shadows. Sad Place Time. That works out. It's not bad. It's not bad. Fun little studies. I'm going to do this next one a little bit more stylized. But I'm going to try and do it with like the same amount of like contrast and stuff in it. But we're going to be using like more blocky shapes because, again, I probably won't be rendering things that much. I'll be doing like, you know, blockier, harder shadows and like some cast, some gradients here and there. So this next one we're going to do a little more stylized, which is cool because the next one is really fun. Notification. All right. Let's go back to gallery. New. 1080p. There we go. And we're going to grab up. Should I do Echo Bullet Dodge or Echo Jinx Big Pose? I've been doing a lot of like really hard contrast ones. I'm going to do the other hard contrast one, but it's going to be the one with the big Echo pose because I like it. Big over the top Echo pose. Really simple, but I want to focus more on the character on this one and how I'm going to get that, get those like blocky shapes in there. We're going to really focus on the character on this one, so I'm actually going to make it a lot bigger. And then we're going to go in new layer. And we're not going to go in and so much like fully detail sketch this. I just want to get an idea for where the light and shadows hit the form and just do a quick sketch over the form. I mean, this boy, who do be twisting. I mean, Jesus Christ. Look at this. Look at this man's. Look at this man's. Look at that big curve he's got going on. It like goes all the way down here, up and around, and then back that way. What a good pose. You know, it's moving like that. His spine's going like this way. Like, where is his... Let's see if I can figure out where his body goes right here. Obviously, this is his head. This is one of his legs, starting right there, it looks like. That's going to be the top of his shoulders there, the top of his chest. Goes that way. We're seeing just a little bit of his side there. I literally just said I wasn't going to do this, and now I'm doing it, but hey, we're already here. Something like that. That's going to be his torso. Then... like, his head's facing this way. His whole body's turning like this. Right? So his hips. We try and. His hips are like right there. I feel like they really broke this boy's back. Like they really broke this boy. Because right there is kind of where his pelvis would be. But it's really, really twisted. It's like maybe his crotch is like right there. It's going like that and like that. I didn't get the shape a little bit wrong. Like that. Like that. And then it dips back around there. Goes up like that. That makes a lot more sense, actually. That's actually not so bad. The joint for his leg is like up here for some reason. It's one leg there. One leg there. I got to do a lot more gesture studies. But we'll get like this is all leg. This is all leg. I'm almost completely certain that's like drawn over top of. Hair. His arms out here. Screenshot's also really blurry, but still. This is why you don't want to study like poses and stuff so much from animation. Because you want to know the actual proportions of everything before you would try and do something like this. Oh well. But anyways, generally, there's the outline of our character. Here's his little weird thing he's wearing. But I just want to focus on the shadows and the lighting here. So we're just going to delete this layer. Boop. Boop. There we go. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn this down. Actually, no, we're going to keep it. And go full on white. Disney Whirl. Disney Whirl. I love me some Disney Whirl. I gotta rewatch Encanto now that it's on Disney Plus. I loved Encanto. Like Encanto's that movie where the more I think about it, the more I like it. And I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I did really end up loving it. What I'm doing here is I'm just going over the light parts because I want to see how the silhouette looks with just the light parts. Because you'll still be able to make out probably the character whenever just the harsh like lights are on him. Because honestly, the light in this shot is doing most of the work. As far as like making Echo readable here. Can't wait until you get it. Can't wait until you need a Disney Plus subscription for groceries. Okay. I don't know if we'll get to that point anytime soon. Imagine, though, needing Goofy's permission to get some, like, oranges. Gosh, you want some lemons? Did you pay your $10.99 this month for lemons? Or $7.99 or however much it is. Pay your $7.99 this month for lemons. Oh, nope. Did I draw over the... Damn it. I drew over the picture. That's disappointing. Do it again. Slightly bigger brush this time. Turn the opacity down. Layers. Gotta love them. Motion blur is going to make that foot impossible to make out, but whatever. That's why I like Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse doesn't have motion blur. It has blur frames, but no motion blur. Spider-Verse 2 is going to be amazing. I should do Spider-Verse studies at some point. But those would probably be like color palette studies or something. Well, there's a lot of really strong poses I can get from Spider-Verse as well. But again, before I start doing like actual pose studies, I should learn anatomy better. Which again, Anatomy for Sculptors, great book. Something I'm going to be studying on the regular these days. I'm going to start working through the book front to back. Just learning from it. As God intended, books. The way every good young man and woman should learn is with books. Well, I'm learning from a book. That's great, sonny boy. Yeah, I downloaded it on my iPad. What do you mean you downloaded it? It's a book. You can't download a book. Well, yeah, it's called a digital PDF. It's a file format where they took a book and they, before they printed it, they put it on a computer and they just took that computer file of the print formatting of the book and they put it on there for people to buy a digital license so that they could read it. This is blasphemy. Books are only meant to be read with physical paper. How dare you purchase a book that's made out of data? Fictional fake computer particles? How can you possibly learn from such a thing? I mean, anybody can learn from. I mean, it's the same thing, dude. No! You must do it the right way. The old way. It doesn't sound very effective. You're not very effective. Okay, rude. Old man, there was no reason for you to be unnecessarily rude there. Don't you call me old, sonny boy. Just because I literally have one foot in the grave doesn't mean I can't whoop your scrawny ass. Well, I mean, violence isn't necessarily the answer for this conversation. You're not the answer for this conversation. Sir, you're being very rude right now. I'm not so sure I appreciate it. I don't appreciate your wit, whippersnapper. Smart ass. He just goes to swearing. Your dreams online? Oh, dude. All my dreams are online. On the internet, even. Why are you having a convo with yourself? I don't know. I'm essentially tracing shapes. Brain went in the autopilot for a second there. You guys don't understand how much I talk to myself. I'd argue I do it 90% of the day. When I'm at work, all I do is talk to myself. I'm on autopilot at work. My mouth is saying things like check digits and such, but my actual brain, nah, my brain ain't doing nothing. My brain's just running through fake conversations with myself. It's really funny. And if I say it's really funny, it sounds less sad. Haha, hee hee. There's not a lot of midtones on our boy here, is there? He's almost completely jet black in the shot. Maybe I should have picked a shot with more like light in it before I started doing like hard like highlights and shadow studies. Who will? I have a feeling these guys are all fake. Chame Ambrosio? Oh, I'm just gonna ban these things because I don't imagine they're real people. I have a feeling they're just bots. Okay, let's look at our shapes that we made. If we look at this, yep, that sure is a boy doing a flip. That sure is a boy doing a flip. And then if we go here, turn that on, change this to white, still looks like somebody doing a flip. You can see the leg, see the arm, whatever that shape's supposed to be. And if we go into something more middle-y, what am I doing? Turn this on. That's just a whole person right there. But don't you know, sonny boy, the digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards the development of convenient half-truths, young whippersnapper? The splotches of ink that therapists show you and ask, what does this look like? Does this look like a boy? Is this a boy? Oh, kind of looks like a boy. I think maybe, I don't know. You tell me, is that a boy? Yeah, I don't know if I got as much out of that as I wanted. Again, another. Maybe this one for that? Yeah, this guy right here. Because this guy you can really see the edge lighting on. I kind of want to do this whole scene as a contrast study, though. Whoops. Because this whole shot has like really good contrast. And a lot going on in it, too. We're just going to move it over a little bit. Mom's cooking like chicken right now. Smells good? That's good, buddy. What time is it? 7:22? How long have I been streaming for? About 2 hours? I thought these would have taken longer. Again, I'm generalizing quite a bit, but still. It's just more studies. All right, let's sketch out the big forms here. What's up, big guy? You're a big boy. Man, they made him frame this guy up just right, didn't they? The way he frames up little Deckard here, he frames him up real good. Make sure we get the right angle on Silco's butt there. The right angle, just the right the right silhouette. Can't let people think I missed out on Silco's butt. I would never disrespect Silco and his butt like that. Silco did nothing wrong. I didn't say that. I just said I'm not going to disrespect Silco's butt. I'd argue Silco did plenty of things wrong. I know that's a hotly debated and hotly contested fact, but Silco did plenty of things wrong, in my opinion. So I'm not going to draw this whole intricate ass window, but I am just going to draw some of the things that help with the framing the most. Like the fact that there's two whole rings going on here. I'm getting to you, Singed. Chill out. Disrespect Silco's butt. Cody Hansel. You gotta stop. I would never do such a thing as disrespect a man's ass. Disrespect the man? Yes. His ass? No. Mans can't be controlling how his ass look. Sometimes your ass just don't look good. Sometimes your ass do look good. But that's not a topic for respect, for the debate of respect. You should still respect an ass. Then just me and you, we gotta work on our posture there, buddy. Or else my back's gonna look like yours before long. All right. You get new glasses. Hey, fun fact. Something that we could probably talk about is I'm gonna be taking vacation from January the 9th for that whole week. So Sunday to Sunday. Um, just so you guys know and are aware. So there might be a few extra streams here and there, but the main reason why I'm doing it is because GDQ, the Games Done Quick, is happening that week, and I want to take a week off and enjoy it as much as possible. So I'll be taking the week off for that. And if you guys want, maybe during some of the GDQ stream, we can hop on Discord and we can watch it together and just talk about fun streams and stuff. You know, not streaming it to not like restreaming it to YouTube or anything, but just all of us watching it and chit chatting about it. I could just hop into a room. I just honestly just sit in my living room, hop on my phone, and plug in some headphones, and then talk from there. All right. So yeah, I figured I'd let you guys know that. See if you guys wanted to do that, or we just talk about speedruns all the time. All right, let's talk about framing in this shot. So what do we got framing wise? Well, I already pointed out this guy. This guy here. And kind of this entire left side here that's in shadow helps frame up our people of interest here. But we also have this side point of interest. Like, what's he doing over there? What's going on with this guy? Huh? What's he doing? Huh? And even though he's not framed up like these guys are, he's the brightest part in the room. Bright. And since he's so bright, he stands out. So point of focus. A point of focus, because not the point of focus, but a point of focus. And these guys right here also points of focus. And again, we're all being pointed in this direction, right? These guys right here, they're all shaped like arrows. So, of course, they're going to be pointing our eyes that way. These rings come in, right? We've got dark to light. Or, sorry, light to dark, which is pushing our eyes down this way. And all that comes to frame in these two as our points of interest, which is why they have like these really bright lights on them. And again, all this stuff that's in shadow is less important, but it also breaks up our depth, right? So we got these guys here are our foreground elements, including the floor here, which is all broken up by this bit of light here, which is broken up by more dark here, and then is broken up again by getting lighter here. And it just adds depth. It adds layers, but like metaphorical layers, but also literal layers. There's no point in uploading these notes because I'm the only one who's going to be able to understand these notes if I show them on like something. I don't know. Maybe I'll share them all on like Twitter and stuff later. I don't know. Maybe follow me on Twitter, Cody Hansel Live, because I still can't get at Cody Hansel because somebody still has it, even though they haven't used Twitter in 9 years. And I'm frustrated. It's stupid. If you're not going to use Twitter, then let me have the Twitter handle. And Twitter's not being any help. Why should they? What do they get from it? They're Twitter. So dumb. Anyways. Adelaide, stop. Don't do that. Don't. We're going to I already added a layer. Oh yeah, reference. Boop. Second verse, same as the first. Make it really tiny. Just a little thumbnail for me to look at. And delete. It's like, why I'm just Kibi? Someone just has Kibi. I know. It's so frustrating. I'm me, damn it. Let me be me. Just let me be who I want, Dad. Cody, that got weirdly real. Shut up. I should have drew those arrows in. We'll add them on this layer. There we go. Generally got them there. Wait, why does YouTube not use standard emoji keyboards? Hello anymore? Hello? Keyboard still had them, but that's weird. That is weird. Do you think YouTube would have that in there? Maybe the live stream does. Maybe YouTube Live doesn't do it. It's strange though, isn't it? Anyways, how you doing today, Kibi? How you been, bud? I can't see their leg behind the reference, but it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters anyways. I mean, I basically got it right. Look at that. And Silco's even darker here. Being almost completely pitch black. Out of town seeing family? There you go. I saw my family last week for Christmas, so I don't have to do anything for them this week. My contrast in my brush up so I don't have to take as long coloring in Silco here. Silco's dark menacing form and butt. I hope Cinema Therapy does an episode on Arcane someday soon. I would lose my mind watching them talk about the characters from Arcane. Playing Soul Silver right now while watching. Let's go. Soul Silver's a good one. Or so I've heard. I've never actually beaten Soul Silver. little bit darker. Not that much darker. Just a touche. Just a touche darker. I can hear my downstairs neighbors vacuuming. It's very loud. I'll have you know, downstairs neighbors, the people on my stream can't hear you, but I can. And I am mildly annoyed by the fact that you would do house chores while I am trying to do stuff in my office. Haven't really played this game in years. Cody spitting. I am. Have you ever been mildly annoyed by your neighbors? Then you know. You know my anger right now. You know my rage. It is a true and just fury. I did not draw that tear at all. Cody about to have baby gamer rage. Me not baby gamer, me big boy gamer. Y'all to see me disappear and I'm like gone for like a few minutes and I come back upstairs, my hands covered in blood. It's just like, what'd you do to your neighbors? Nothing. Nothing anyone can prove. It's like, wow, I think Cody committed a murder. No, me? I'm not a murder boy. I'm a good boy. I'm so good. Look at how good and nice I am. And definitely not a murder boy. Oh my god, now they're opening and closing their closets downstairs or something? Shut up! Start raging. Cody, this is only mildly inconveniencing you. Shut up. Stream, I'm sorry you have to see this side of me. This absolute baby gamer rage side of me. You guys don't deserve this. This sinful version of myself. I like how they make sure to highlight that. I like how they highlight how bald Singed is by just putting a little highlight. Bald! Bald. That's a backwards D. Bald! I find that very entertaining. By the way, Kibi, have you watched Arcane? Arcane's really good. You should watch it. Open. Thank you. Oh, look at how good the color of my water bottle and my shirt go together. It's like a little complementary color. I like that. You gotta know I accessorized with my water bottles, did you? Yeah, I'm kind of a fashionista. I'm kind of a fashion king. Kind of the hottest new trend, you know? Everyone looks around and sees, wow, here comes Cody. Looking hot. Followed someone on Twitter and they're freaking out. His bottom working on is doing wonders for my ego. Dang. I didn't know Donut was getting a big head. It was one person who didn't need to get a big ego. It's Donut. He's too powerful. I've said it a million times. There's one person I randomly know from the internet who has the ability to succeed someday. It's Donut. Donut will be a greater success than so many people. Generally speaking, the contrast adds up pretty well. I could push the light up here a little bit more. And it's not quite that dark around the characters. It's a little bit lighter. There we go. Now the foreground and the background separates out a little bit better. Yeah, more accurate. Someone is doing this like TikTok leaves of the mod I'm leaks of the mod I'm working on, just posting what we post on Twitter. And they have like 35K views in the vids. Wow. Holy crap, Donut. That's kind of insane, dude. Congratulations, man. Why do I have so many pings in Discord? What's happening? Who's talking to me? Oh. Oh, everybody's saying Merry Christmas in my Discord. Gotcha. Okay. You watched Arcane? Dude! It's really good. Yo, maybe that's what we should do. Whenever I'm on vacation in 2 weeks, we should watch like an episode of Arcane a day in the Discord. Maybe 2 episodes some of the days. Because I don't know. There'll probably be some runs that I don't want to watch, and we can watch like a couple of episodes in the Discord. Because I want as many people as possible to watch this show. Talk about things that I would love to do all the time, but can't do because of my work schedule. It's just watch shows in Discord and talk about them with a group of people and maybe make a video out of it. You play League of Legends? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to find help for people like you. Um, but I know some guys who went through something similar, the exact same thing actually, and they got out. They got out. So if you need help, if you need help, yeah, I know some guys who can help you if you ever want out. I mean, I understand that everybody wants out. It can be hard to get out. So just treating a league player like they have an unhealthy addiction. So bad. So bad. Treating it as if it's like on the same scale as like Alcoholics Anonymous or something. Jesus Christ, I'm going to hell. I can't wait. Can't wait to be vibing in hell with Satan. Like, yo, I always knew this day would come. How you doing, Satan? All right. So why can you clip YouTube videos but not streams? I don't know. They're gonna add that feature next year. It's coming along with gifted memberships and stuff like that. All that stuff is coming next year. They just have not implemented it yet, and it doesn't matter because I can't monetize on YouTube until I hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, anyways. We'll get there though. All right, I kind of want to call that one okay. That one's not bad. Yeah, it's also not a bad one. Cool. I wish I knew what I was doing when I shade, but for now I just add shadow until I like it. I mean, that's basically what you do. But that's a reason why I'm doing the study is because I want to understand the contrast of shadows and lights more. And the thing is, like if I were to take what I've got here, right? And let's say I just put some color underneath it. And then I went to like, let's duplicate this. And we'll do a multiply layer on that one. We'll do an overlay layer on this one. Or like a screen. Lighten? Screen. Now we got something a little bit contrast and color in it. If I were to go even further and say we did like maybe this guy's wearing whites. This guy's wearing a white shirt and like blue pants. All of our shadow detail and our lights and everything are going to stay where they are. Give them blue shirt. Obviously, these aren't the final colors you want to roll with. You want to push this, like you'd want to do like another layer on top of it. Give them something that looks akin to a skin tone. Because this looks really, really washed out and everything. Because it is. But I mean, that's the basic premise of going like grayscale to color. All of our shadows stay in the same place, but now our character is shaded and all that good stuff. We wing it. Yeah, we do. But I also wouldn't necessarily work in this direction because, again, I like to work on top of like solid things and like solid pre-picked colors and everything of palettes. But yeah, you're right. We wing it. We do. We do. All right. Let's see. How long have we been going for? We've been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. What I took away from this: add layers and click buttons until image go pretty. I mean, that's digital art in a nutshell. But better than how I do it, because you still gotta know what you're doing. All right, let's do one more. Wait, no reference yet. Because I'm getting hungry. Insert a photo. Actually, what we're going to do here is we're just going to put this in reference. Because I want to do this one almost like a draw this in your style type thing. Grab it. Thank you. Get my framing. Something like that. I do. Damn, unlucky. Wait, for what? Unlucky for what? Let's turn my background color a little bit grayer, so I'm not drawing just on bright white by itself. Whoops. It's not a very good sketch pencil. Focus on Jinx over here first. The way Jinx's torso is like twisted here is so crazy. Her head is, it's not that crazy really, but her head, which is like right up here, it's kind of up this way. Then her torso is like turned this way, right, from her head. So if we're looking at it, her head's this way, her torso's going up like this. Not nearly as much of an angle. There we go. I want to try and get this as right as possible, but it's hard. Where's her center? Her center's going to be right there. Center of the box. Like that, kind of. And then her hips going that way. So if we're drawing in the pelvis, it's gonna be something like that. Probably turned a little bit more. Then her arm, like that. Her other arm is hidden behind her back here. I have to know what I'm doing. Yeah, you're right. I have chicken. Very good. Very good for you. for her neck. God, that line. I have to do much more anatomy studies to get all this right. Yeah, I've already not pushed it enough. Because it's almost like that. And then, because this is where that's where side of her back is. Because this is going to be her chest. No, that's not the way her pelvis is facing. Her pelvis is facing this way. Actually, I think it's even more push than that. I think it's like... Because this is the side of her leg. We're seeing the side right here. Okay, hold on. Goddamn kids, your goddamn League of Legends. Back in my day, we played Chess Machine. God. The rise of auto chess. So, this is all that plane. I think it's the same plane right there. If we draw the pelvis in from there. Yeah, it's much more right. A little bit too small, though. Now it's too high up. Because that's top of her arm. That actually covers up a little bit of that. Again, this is getting into anatomy, so I'm not really trying to do anatomy here. I'm just... Well, I'm obviously trying to do anatomy here, but I'm just trying to figure out how exactly this is going. This is where knowing how bodies work would make this so much easier. That arm's pretty jank. How do you fix jank arm? You hide it. Hide it off screen. of her braids. That. And this comes down to knowing how the freaking face works. So we come in here. We're trying to talk about the planes of the face. Obviously, this is her cheeks right there. Her nose. We're going to see the underside of her nose. Her lips, her chin. Looks a little patty there. I think I might have not got that quite right. Oh, I think I got the angle of the head right. I'm just not getting the details in the face right. This is where I got to do a lot more studies for this kind of stuff. Anatomy for sculptors. Gotta keep reading it. Oh, her arm is on frame. Well, I had that zoomed in way too much. Okay, boomer. All right. We really getting into the boomer talk again, eh? Her height and frame's about right. Where would her elbow be? About right there? And her arm is still going off screen. Arm is angling back up a little bit there. And her freaking giant ass tails here. God, that arm looks so wrong. There's so much wrong with that arm. All right. There's the, whoops. So top of the arm. It's our shape for her arm. It's coming from behind the back, nearly straight. Her arm skinnies out a lot. I forget how thin her arms are. So that would be like her arm. Her arm is out facing this way. So if her arm is out facing this way, it's not going to be like the fat, muscly part of the arm is going to be up. It's going to be out this way. Okay. Just using the viewfinder in my camera for reference real quick. Don't worry about it. I don't think I'm seeing the right planes here. I don't think that's the direction the arm's going. I think the arm's going almost flat. It is almost level too. It's basically straight. Back in my day, AAA games were better. That is an okay boomer statement right there. I don't contend to the point that modern day that AAA games are better or worse than they were years ago. I do miss cheat codes in games though. Games need cheat codes again. Cheat codes are better back in my day. It's accurate because back in my day we had cheat codes. Okay. It's better, I think. You can actually see where the arm wraps around the form there. Okay. Games today are too expensive to make, so they're less willing to take risk. They also have to make up the cost of needless DLCs and microtransactions. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Which is why they just need the way. Which is why I believe they really should just raise the base price for games. Like even just like a game like Rift Apart being $70, didn't mind it. Didn't mind it at all. I would have paid even more for it. I actually did pay even more for it. I paid, I think, $80 because I also got the DLC. I got the digital art book DLC. But I find value in the digital art book a lot, so that's a bit different, but still. That's why I peaked in the 2000s. Yeah. Punchy glove. Let's see. How big is the glove? The end of the glove is right here. Basically, it's nearly level with her chest. It is level with her chest, so it's like right there. It's big. And the whole boxy boy. You can barely see the other side of it. Actually, you really can't. Her hair coming in the way it is kind of getting in the way of it a little bit. Is the music done? Music stopping? Music, why'd you stop? Oh no, this song's just super quiet. Never mind. Milo's little face on there. I do have her too close to it. That was part of the problem when she was too close to it. Which is also too high up in the frame. Then we'll throw some real quick shadows on this, and we'll say that that's not bad. I just wanted to get this knocked out really quick, because I just wanted to get an idea for the pose and how it moved. That's a good bit lighter. Not quite that bright. Make the background color a little darker. Her abs are all real light. The front of her face. Her hair. Grab up those. Bit of a highlight where the belt would be, as well as on her torso here. Well, I didn't grab quite the color I wanted to grab there. That. There we go. That's okay. Airbrush bigger. Make it much bigger. It's got a good bit of lightness on it as well. A little punchy boy here. The whole arm is quite light. Especially towards the front. Got a little bit of rim light on him as well. The other boxing glove I didn't draw in, but it did have some light on it. Some light there. Some light on the corners. And then we'll just darken the rest of the boy. Cool. All right. Not awful. The dark behind Jinx is too dark, though. There we go. And then I can drop it down a little bit more. There we go. That's a bit more accurate. All right. Let's see. Well, that's what, 3 hours almost, if not more. Yeah, just under 3 hours. Just under 3 hours. What? What's happening? What was that? I think I pressed something and went to a different window. That was weird. All right. That's 3 hours of studies. Did a lot. Learned a lot, I think, actually. As far as framing and what I want to work on as far as like anatomy and stuff goes. But I think at the end of the day, they weren't all that bad. Let's do a quick little review of what we did. So first things first was this. That was focusing on the contrast and the framing. You know, that one was pretty straightforward. But I do like how it turned out. I do think the sketch helped out more than anything. What if I turn off the sketch and the color? Actually still looks pretty good. Turn off the sketch and the color and it actually still looks pretty good. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It shows that, like, yeah, you got contrast figured out, dude. Not bad. So cool. I like that. Then we got this one right here, which is I think my second favorite. Actually, realistically, in terms of what I was going for today, I think this one's my favorite. I just think we covered the most in this, and we got like a lot of really good notes out of it. I don't hate this one either. I think the first one feels the most detailed just because the first one's like all sketched in and everything. So it's got more detail to it, so it feels tighter. It looks more like Arcane. But I think realistically, I learned the most out of this one as far as framing goes. And kind of how to get that emotion out of that kind of shot. Then we got the fun little silhouette we did of Echo. Not that big of a deal. I also like this one quite a bit. Again, not very detailed, but you can see all the characters standing out. And I feel like we actually got like the layers of depth going here. Like, this is great for like, at that size, you can still see like multiple forms in there. You can see like there's multiple points of interest. Like at this size, if you can read what's going on, like that's what you want. And actually, let's go back to this one. Turn off our notes. I mean, at the smallest size, you can still see the contrast. And if you make it a little bit bigger, you can see there's another form there. You can see there's a character there. Like, that's obviously the point of interest. Like, it works. It effectively works. So that's not terrible. That's kind of, you know, the direction I was going with this. That's great. Let's do the same thing of Jinx here. Yeah, again. At the end of the day, that doesn't look bad. Really just shows that whenever it comes to working on this stuff, you got to really keep contrast in mind. And again, I won't be painting a lot, I don't think, but this is going to help me like figure out where to put my shapes and my colors. And I'm going to start doing some more anatomy studies because I feel like that's the thing I need the most right now is anatomy studies for characters. Again, let's turn up our sketch. Yeah, even with the sketch turned off, like it's barely noticeable. Obviously, the lines inside the sketch help direct everything, but you can still see where the point of interest is, and it's her face. That's the brightest thing besides the explosion. And it's all framed up like it needs to be. Okay, cool. That was actually a decent little learning segment. Decent little chunk of learning. I'll be taking that with me into the future. And by that, I mean probably later on tonight after I get done eating, because I kind of want to keep drawing, but I don't want to sit at my desk anymore. I don't want to sit at my desk anymore, and I'm getting hungry. So it's time for Cody to dip out. And I'm also realizing it's Christmas Eve, so there's nothing to eat. As far as like going out to eat, I'll have to actually cook something. No, using my stuff to cook. I don't want to do that. That's what adults do. I'm 27. I'm not an adult. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, gang, thank you for coming by. I hope this will be useful to somebody. If not, well, it's useful to me. But thanks for coming by, guys. Maybe there'll be a stream tomorrow. There should be something tomorrow. I don't know what. I don't know if I'm going to do more art or what I'm going to do. I don't know. But I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for coming by, gang. Have a good one. Peace.